Hi, it's the last day of March, so time to look at the books that I read in the second half of the month. And I think it was 10 I read, so I've had a really good second half. 4 from the Women's Prize for Fiction, 2 from the Carnegie, and 1 from the Rathbone Folio Prize, and 2 maybe from the NetGalley Arcs. So the first one I read was from the Women's Prize for Fiction, and it was Trespasses by Louise Kennedy. This one wasn't an easy read. It was set in 1975 Northern Ireland during the Troubles, and we have a Roman Catholic primary school teacher who forms a relationship with a Protestant barrister who's very outspoken. At school she takes under her wing a little lad whose parents are mixed marriage, one Protestant, one Catholic, and all the sort of antagonism that there is against him. And it's a really hard read, but it is a really, really good read as well. I really enjoyed that, and I like the character of Kushla. The next one was another one from the Women's Prize, and it's one that I didn't really take to. It wasn't a book that said anything to me, really. It's about social media, I think. It's about a woman who's having... I didn't say what it was. I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel. It's about social media, a narrator who's absolutely obsessed with a man... with a woman who's seeing the man that she's seeing, and she stalks her online. She's obsessive, she's manipulative. You've got power dynamics in the relationship. I don't know, I didn't really enjoy that one. I couldn't relate to anybody in the book. I was quite disappointed, really. The next one was The Sharp Edge of Silence by Cameron Kelly Rosenblum. And this is a NetGalley arc that comes out either the end of this month or beginning of April, I'm not sure. It's a YA book, and it deals with male toxicity and the rape culture, set in an elite boarding school. One of our point of views, Quinn, she was raped at the end of term disco, end of term ball, and it's her desire for revenge on this guy who is just walking around as though nothing's ever happened. We've got secret societies. We've got 2 other points of view, and at the beginning you don't see how they all come together, but by the end you do. And she is a brilliant character. You've got her anger and you've got her shame, because she feels she's shamed because she was attacked, and her inability to defend herself. She feels such shame and anger, and she is a super character, and I really like that one. The next one was an old favourite, Elizabeth Strout, Lucy by the Sea, and this is on the Rathbone Prize, the Folio Prize. This was on the shortlist, and it's the 4th in the Lucy Barton series, and I have loved that series. So the fact that I was able to pick this one up as part of this shortlist was absolutely wonderful. Lucy and her ex-husband are now in Maine. He took her there when the pandemic started, when the lockdown started, to keep her safe. And it's their relationship. It's her coping with loneliness, and she's still grieving for her second husband. And you've got isolation, loneliness, grief, and everything is ramped up because of the lockdown and the pandemic. And you've got her feelings for her daughters, her friends, her flats. I loved it. I love this style of writing. It's like sitting down and having a coffee with a friend. The next one was The Light in Everything by Katya Balen, and this is on the Carnegie shortlist. and you've got points of view of Tom and Sophia. These are both children nearing the end of their primary school, ready to start secondary school. And Tom lives with his mum, and he's such a timid, fearful little lad. And Sophia lives with her dad, and she's feral, she's thunderous, she's wild, she's exuberant, total opposite of Tom. And these two are brought together because Tom's mum and Sophia's dad are in a relationship, and Tom's mum becomes pregnant. So they all move in together. So you've got these two polar opposites who absolutely hate each other, sort of flung together. And Tom is so frightened of the dark. Every night he counts seconds to see how long he can stay in the dark before he switches the lights on. And Sophia, she counts the seconds that she can stay underwater because she loves swimming. So you've got a little connection with them both counting then. And it's about relationships and family and emotions. And that was a really good read as well. The next one was superb. It's another NetGalley arc that comes out in April. Go as a River by Shelley Reid. Coming of age, I suppose. It could be classed as a coming of age. It's beautiful. The writing is absolutely picturesque. Set in Colorado, and we have 4 decades of this woman, Victoria. We see her first as a 17-year-old working on her family peach farm. She's the sole woman. Mum's died, so she, as well as helping on the farm, she looks after her dad, her brother, and her disabled uncle. So we see her at 17. And one day she meets this Native American drifter, Wilson Moon, and then her life changes. And we see the next 4 decades. We see her resilience, her heartbreak, her passions, her loss, her unfailing love. She is an absolutely superb character. I absolutely adored that book. Comes out on the 13th of April. Go as a River by Shelley Reid. And unbelievably, it's a debut. The next one was Cursed Bread by Sophie Mackintosh, again on the Women's Prize long list. And this one, I've described it in my notes as a fever dream with erotic undertones. You've got Elodie, who's a baker's wife. And she is an unreliable, in my opinion, she's a very unreliable narrator. She lives in this village, and it's set after the Second World War. And then into this village comes the ambassador and his glamorous wife Violet. And the whole village are drawn to these two like magnets. And Elodie becomes absolutely obsessed with this pair, especially Violet. And it's a novel about their relationship and the power dynamics in that relationship. And you've also got horror elements as well. And Cursed Bread, as the title says. It's narrated by Elodie. She's looking back at what happened, and she's writing letters to Violet telling her what she's doing now. But I don't think she's a reliable narrator. But that could just be my opinion. Next one, on the Carnegie shortlist, and again, a fantastic book. Medusa by Jessie Burton. And this is an illustrated book, and the illustrations in this are fantastic. Medusa in this one is 18. It's a coming of age almost. She's been on the island where she was exiled for 4 years with her 2 Gorgon sisters. And the Medusa that we meet here, she's lonely. She doesn't yet know, apart from having the snake's hair, she doesn't know the second part of Athene's curse. She doesn't understand what Athene meant when woe betide any man fool enough to look on you. She doesn't realise at this point what it means. And onto this island comes Perseus. And it's a relationship between them because she is drawn to this figure, this boy because of her loneliness. And she's frightened of trusting him with her secrets. So she talks to him behind a rock so he can't see her. And over the days they share secrets, but not all the secrets. Perseus doesn't tell her why he's on the island, and Medusa doesn't tell him about her snake hair. It's a story full of emotion. You see her emotions, her loneliness, her hope, her fear, her love. And this gives her the opportunity to tell her story, her violent rape at the hands of Poseidon, and how she finally accepts herself. This was excellent, absolutely excellent. And the final one I read was this one, Homesick, on the Women's Prize long list. I've not returned it to the library yet, which is why it's still in my hands. And this was so moving. I found this very, very profound, very emotional. You've got Amy and Zoe. Amy is the older sister. Her sister Zoe is 3 years younger. Amy is bright. She loves languages. Zoe had a benign brain tumour and suffers seizures. So both girls are taken out of school and homeschooled. And their parents employ Sasha to teach Amy Russian and to help Zoe as well. And the emotional attachment that these two girls formed with Sasha affects their whole lives. And then Amy goes off to university and she leaves her home and she leaves Zoe. And it's how she deals with that. And I found it so beautiful. I found, and the ending, well, as you go through Amy's emotions, you're sitting there and you're gasping with what Amy's writing about. Based, from what I believe, this is based on the author Jennifer Croft and her own sister, but she's fictionalised the story so that her and her sister share centre stage rather than doing it as a I did this memoir where she takes centre stage. And yeah, I adored this one. And book of the month, looking at all of the books that I read in March, and I did read a lot in March. This is my book of the month because of what it made me feel and the connection that I had with these two girls. I absolutely adored this one, and I hope it goes further than the long list in the Women's Prize. I hope it gets to the short list. I would like it to win. This is out of the books I've read so far. I think I'm about halfway through the long list at the moment. But at the moment, this is my front runner. So, that is March. That is everything that I read in March. I'm going to see what April brings me. So, happy reading. Take care and